Okay, so before more of y'all ask, this is the guest room. Excuse me. Unfortunately, our mothers are now grandmothers, and they're getting quite old, so they can't sleep on the floor. What I really wanted to talk about today was something that I feel so deeply moved by. Somebody had a comment that I thought was a really good question the other day to my thoughts on veganism video, and they had asked if we shouldn't criticize and shame people. How is it that we can promote change in the world? Because in the past, things like civil revolutions and abolitionism has been moved by having a complete resistance to what is. And I completely agree with that. There's a time and place to stand up, to be resistant. And that usually comes commonplace when there is a group or a organization of people who are corruptly or intentionally doing something to suppress or manipulate a certain group of people or category. Usually when people are trying to suppress or manipulate people or control them in any sort of way, then showing them that they can't control them in that sort of way, it's not giving them the result that they want, there's no compliance, that's going to obviously cause a revolution and a change. What I want to talk about is how we actually give up our freedom and our ability to make positive changes by turning against one another and criticizing and condemning each other. This is something that is bigger and more obvious than ever in the history of the world. We have the most populated planet, yet we have such depressed and segregated cultures of people. Despite how smart we get, despite the advancements of technology bringing the world together, there's more uproar and more personal pain felt in just the differences or segregation between one another, and it's beginning to hurt us. It's really hurting us, and it's got to come to a stop, or else we're going to continue down a really unproductive road. More than ever in the history of our planet have we felt justified and offended by the simplest things, by simply being different, by simply having an alternate or an opposing opinion. This is what is hurting us, and if there is really anybody out there to get us, whether it's the FDA or the people that make our food or the government or whatever conspiracy you might feel really passionate or like it moves you, or if it's, a spiritual warfare, the way that we're going to lose is by being driven by fear and anger and hate and turning against one another. We are all we've got. And so if you're looking at us as a group of people, and if you want to look at this just from simply, carrying the conversation over a dietary perspective, you have to realize that most people in the world do not realize the effects, just the simple effects of what our food consumption of meat and dairy and even sugars, refined sugars, snacks, and processed foods have on our planet and on our bodies alone. We obviously really care about living a high quality of life. We obviously want to do better. Most of us want to do better. It's why we're here watching these videos. But we have to ask ourselves, why is it so difficult for many people to pull out of that cycle then? If it is obvious and it makes sense, and when we're presented with the ideas, why is it so hard? Well, I'll tell you, the reason is because it's been around for centuries. It's been programmed into the way our media is presented, the way we're marketed to, the way we advertise. This is the whole idea about my World Crumbles video that I did. It's just knowing that all these things and all these processes have brought us to where we are. It's why I have a hard time continuing to pursue the work that I've been doing, because these ideas have been taught to us and have been practiced for such a long time, generations upon generations. And when you turn to individuals like you and I, and you say to them, I'm going to shame you, I'm going to criticize you, and I'm going to throw really angry, hateful energy at you because you're doing something that's hurting the planet, you're hurting yourself, you're hurting us, you're hurting the animals, you're hurting the body of the world, of us as a species, what you're going to do is you're going to invalidate how they have been living their lives, most of the time unknowingly. You and I, more than likely, have been in that position where we're standing there saying, oh, I didn't know. And even when we began our journey, we didn't know everything. Even now, we do not know everything. There's always going to be two sides of the coin. If you think that X, Y, and Z is the solution, I can promise you there's going to be some entropy, some stress, some alternative balance that's going to come out of that, and we're going to have to solve that problem too. This is just the way that the world works. This is physics, this is science, this is how it goes. It's the balance of life. So to turn against our brother, to turn against our friends, and to say, how you've been living is wrong and I'm justified to condemn you for that, you are only going to hurt people, you're going to anger them, and you're going to decrease the value of your cause. We are going to decrease the value of our cause if we are not going to be conscious people while promoting consciousness. It is absolutely hypocritical, and it is vital for all of us to understand that this is a prison cell that we put ourselves in. We think that we're empowering ourselves to break people down, to break down their ideologies and say, what I have is a solution, what I have is right. We're passionate about this because we want answers. We want to change the world. We want to do better. Each and every one of us want that so bad. It is why we are so passionate. But when we do that, all we are doing is creating a cage for ourselves. And like I had said earlier, if there's anybody out there that wants to suppress and control the people, if that really exists out there, this is the best way to do it. Turn us against one another. So I bring this so passionately and so deeply because I'm so moved when I see this happen. I'm beyond the place of feeling like I can be judged because I know that my external ego, my outer identity, the life that I live, this is just a vehicle, this is just a body, this is the experience that I have, the struggles and challenges that I face are the lessons that I've been seeking to learn. So anybody can say anything they want, you know, and feel whatever they want. It doesn't change everything that I've been through. You know, I've been through the fire, so it takes a heck of a lot more fire to really challenge my identity in that sense. But what really, really gets to me is the fact that when we do this, we're not only turning on one another, but when I see this happen out there, I see the hurt that that person has just put into their own karma. When we go out and we do not liberate others to be free to live and feel and think the way that they want to think, we take that very freedom away from ourselves. It becomes our prison. Nothing on this planet will free you more than allowing that freedom out there. Now, I don't say this to say, well, don't do anything about what we feel like is wrong or needs changing. That is a completely separate thing. If you want to change something, change it. Change it in your life. Be that example. If you want to promote consciousness, be conscious in every area. You cannot say that we need to promote consciousness for the planet, for other species, while acting unconsciously in our own actions and towards our own people, our own brother, the very people that we are asking to make a change with us. It doesn't make any sense. Whew. It gets me going. It gets me going because, guys, we are smarter, stronger, and more capable of loving than that. We have learned so much through the history of our time. Hate does not do anything. It is why Gandhi did not fight back. It is why Martin Luther King preached, stand up for what you think is right, but do not act violently to the oppressors who are trying to get you to hate. It is against everything that we want to change for the long-term period of time because we are innately ingrained with that knowing and we evolve to the higher consciousness of knowing as we go on. When you look at us 1,000 years ago, we didn't have such motivation or such drive to seek and to want to love and to experience that love in such abundance and in such a range. This is something that evolves because we realize that it improves our life experience. We realize it improves ourselves as a species. If we are to love one another and to work together, we can have a better life in the future for our children and for our future experiences. That is very much ingrained into us biologically. So if you really care about improving your experience, if you really want the freedom to feel like you can love yourself and live your life and try to be more conscious, grow in that consciousness and promote that, then you need to let go of the very things that are caging every single one of us. And that is judgment and this upheaval of fear and anger and negativity when something is not the right shade of blue. We all have our strengths, we all have our talents, and if you can imagine the powerhouse we can be combined with that, we have the history of our world that we have to learn. We have technology, we have science, and we have more than ever a ton of people on this planet. How many minds is that we can bring together? How much love can be generated from that? And we have to find a time right now to set aside all the bullshit, set aside the identities, because all of that doesn't matter. The fear of our identities and anything we ever held dear or valuable being compromised or threatened just because somebody thinks different. Guys, we want to live in a world of color and experience and love. And the only way we can do that is by setting ourselves free, by setting others free, and to consciously move forward, attempting to continue to do what is right, attempting to make choices that promote and demand a higher level of respect and love, not only from ourselves or our neighbors, but from the very institutions and organizations that attempt to control and suppress us. There's something greater beyond your very own identity and what you think is right or wrong, and we as a people need to come together to help create and inspire that in a forward, positive, and more loving motion. So that is my thoughts for today. End rant. If you made it all the way through, I really appreciate you hearing this out. I just feel like this is like the most important message that I try to get across, because we all deserve to love one another. We all deserve to learn and grow together. We are together in this world, this crazy world. We are together in this experience. And the only way we can move forward for our children, our grandchildren, and future generations is to do this more consciously. I believe in us. I believe in our wisdom. I believe in our ability to expand and grow. So it's time to put the little children games down and start being mature about this stuff and start thinking about this from a practical and an understanding standpoint. This is what we got to do together. So thank you for being here with me. I really appreciate you hearing my thoughts. This is just like so important to me, to us, because us as a whole will benefit greatly from this. And if you're new to this channel, welcome. It's not always so intense, but please do share your thoughts and feelings in the comments below. Make it out of love. Try to add value back into the world in what you say and in the actions you take. And if you are new, please subscribe. We love you so much. You deserve to be loved. I love each and every single one of you. And I will see you guys